Okay, we want to say thanks for that strong remark. Without our last school, we will not be able to complete for this competition. So we beg your indulgence. We ask that you give a little time so we can be able to complete our competition and be fair with our judging. So we will now call on Bethlehem. We ask that you please manage the time because we have other activities.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm student Arita M. Johnson from the Itibene Berlin Backyard Student Please. Students.
Nora enrollment on the 12th class. Lesson T tape up on the 12th class.
12th class.
As we observe Africa Human Rights Day, Police and Ari display a drama about African child whose right to education was abused by the lady she lived with, as she lives on a total providing for a home. Ladies and gentlemen, the drama, the main character is Musu.
She will worry. She's sleeping. She can't say she won't go to school. Then she stays sleeping. Now we want to cancel Mama Cake. Musu! Yeah, Mama, yeah, Mama, Mama, baby, welcome to sharing one of you back in campus. I think I gave you a something last week.
By the orange, yeah. By the orange, yeah. 1 for 15, 1 for 10.
Stand up.
By the sweet orange, yeah. By the sweet orange, yeah. The sweet orange, yeah.
So that I'll take off.
Orange, yeah, 1 for 50, 1 for 10. Mas leva como?
Be fast now.
Okay, the one.
C-A-T cat.
Put it back.
R-A-T rat. C-A-T cat. R-A-T rat.
A sweet orange, orange. Orange, sweet orange.
R-A-T rat.
Sweet. Oh,
A-A-T mat. Ari gave me a summit.
Everything on bad. Open up about what you say on school. Who's I think you want to get press body.
Okay, Ari, thank you. You always wear a summit.
Orange.
I think I have to employ for that.
Orange.
C-A-T cat. R-A-T rat. M-A-T mat.
This is Jessica. There's a girl out there starting us.
They want to see you. You can have a seat. You guys don't want to be serious. Hello again. Don't be frightened, don't be afraid. I won't harm you. What is your name? My name is Muslu. Okay, I'm still Jessica. So what are you doing? You are nice hair, you're orange. Why?
Mama,
Guys, are you true with your spelling? Okay, I think there is enough for today. This Bryce will be back. And so you're engaged, yeah, child or children?
my nigga, a child.
Yeah.
She got a one or yeah, and the boy will go to school.
At what age don't want to send you to school?
I don't know that I don't know. I even know though.
No, I have to. I want to take you to your house.
Okay. I am with.
Now, wish that meaning about school. What are you doing? What is she not doing?
Hello, no, she hasn't done anything.
Eh, come on, we should finish.
You have to stop this. This is not
That's not what people want. Yeah, I don't know. They don't get it.
This child have a right to protect her.
Yes, man. I know. Say now. You need to what people want.
Say her to her.
Say now. You?
I need to talk to you.
I know.
This morning I was in class teaching. I saw how
I teach can be doing. I know. I
want to say that she want to go to school. It's not a bad thing. Please send her to school. You know, human rights is a right for every human being. And you have to live by it. You have to practice it. This child has the right to live. She has the right to go to school. She has the right to play with others. Please.
there is something.
And also there is a law called human rights law. And if you don't practice this law, the government will arrest you.
Oh, me money.
Yeah, mommy.
Jesus.
Yeah, mommy. It will be good to say how to school. You don't know what tomorrow may be. Maybe Hawa may be president and you will enjoy from Hawa. Let us not send only boys children to school. Or you know, only girls for both. Let us treat them both equal.
Musu nunca. Você não malha bebê. Oh, my president. Ma, thank you, yeah. How are you?
Thank you, ma, for understanding me and letting Hawa have the freedom to go to school.
All right.
For our next class, let us practice human rights law and live by it. And for me, student Leslie Democracy as a teacher, I support human rights.
Please, Laura and Courtney, come on, you have money. I support human rights.
Please, like yesterday, come on, as Musu. I support human rights.
As for me, I'm Nami, serve as one of the students and support human rights.
Arika and Chelsea serve as a student and support human rights.
Francis Flomo, support human rights.
While we await our judges to tabulate and come up with our winners, we'd like to skip the awarding of winners and call on our keynote speaker for today's occasion. She's no other person than Ms. Paul Zodier, Deputy Minister for Economic Affairs of the Ministry of Justice.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Officials of government here present, including the acting chair and commissioners of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, members of the diplomatic community, representatives of the OHCHR, students, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I first want to say thank you so much to the students for the wonderful dramatization. You're all so very talented. Good luck to all of you. You all deserve to win the prizes. So thank you very much for that. On behalf of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Republic of Liberia, who would have loved to be here to participate in this program today, we thank you for the opportunity to address this forum. The commitment to commemorate the African Human Rights Day is based on the stated goal to reflect and to recommit to the promotion and protection of human and people's rights on the continent. It's important that the African Union decided that there needed to be an African Human Rights Day. As the representative of the OHCHR said, Africa has a set of unique challenges that, although we celebrate International Human Rights Day, the unique challenges that we have and unique opportunities that we have to try to address those are important for us to celebrate Human Rights Day on the continent in our own way. In Liberia, the efforts of the INCHR in promoting the protection of human rights, and in particular working with the Ministry of Justice to implement those programs. We're very grateful for your work and all the activities that you do to make us all more aware of some of the challenges that we face in Liberia in protection of human rights. This year's theme, Fighting Corruption and Advancing Human Rights, Our Collective Responsibility, is of course aptly relevant to the challenges that we face here in Liberia. I am a government official, and there are a lot of times that we all think that corruption is only committed by government officials. We don't acknowledge or try to take our own shared responsibility for the corruption that takes place in all facets of our society. And I think the drama done by the students, show very clearly that how corruption impacts and affects everyone in the society and not just by government actors. The synchronon, which is part of the theme for this, means an essential condition, absolutely necessary. So, as the ECOWAS ambassador said, there's no such thing as a corruption-free country. But to the extent that we can get as close to that as possible, what works for us, we can have more economic development. Our kids can go to school. We can protect human rights. So it's important that we have these discussions to try to see how we can take responsibility and what we can do in our own lives and in our professions to try to promote the protection of human rights and try to decrease the level of corruption in our society. We know that corruption erodes our social fabric. It causes us to lose faith in our system, including the justice system, a lot of times in particular the justice system. It negatively impacts the economy, and government scarce resources are converted to private use. That undermines national development, that undermines our ability to devote funds to education, to school buildings. You read about stories where students are sitting in classroom on the floors. All of these are violations of human rights. Every child has a right to go to school, as you have said. And so what corruption does and has done in our society is create the enabling environment of denying people the rights to life, liberty, education, health, all of those rights that are talked about in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In his address at the opening of the Supreme Court of Liberia, the October term of court this year, the Minister of Justice reminded us all that the bedrock of a functioning judicial system is respect for the rule of law. And we found in our society that that's been eroded a bit. In our homes, in our communities, in our offices, we have to respect the rule of law. So what does that mean? That means in government processes, we at the Ministry of Justice require PPCC approval before we sign off on agreements. That means when you call a police officer to intervene in some crime that has happened, you should feel confident that that police officer will do what is necessary. That teachers will not take bribes to give your students a grade. That all forms part of the rule of law, and we have to be able to respect that in order for our society to move forward. We do recognize that a lot of times when we think about corruption in our society, it is put on government. And we recognize the part that the justice sector plays. And we also know that we in the justice sector have challenges. At the Ministry of Justice, we have a Human Rights Protection Unit that works closely with the CHR, in trying to help government to implement and ensure that we do our part in Liberia to make sure that we protect human rights. But of course, like I said, there are challenges. Ministry of Justice does have the responsibility to prosecute cases of corruption. And we have done that. We have prosecuted cases of corruption. And of course, at the level that we have corruption, there are times that it doesn't seem that what we've done is enough. And there are challenges to that. So we have integrity institutions like LACC, GAC, all of these institutions that also have their part to play. And if Ministry of Justice doesn't prosecute a case, the LACC has the right to go ahead and prosecute that case, and they have done that. But like I said, we recognize the weakness in the system, how embedded corruption seems to be in our system, that sometimes makes it difficult for us to be able to prosecute, for us to act. Even in our communities, sometimes we a lot of times will, as the dramatization of the students show, we protect perpetrators of some of these actions. And so we all have to, as we say, look at ourselves and what we can do in our own lives to try to limit or stem corruption as best as we can. In his address, the acting chair mentioned that, corruption has been public enemy number one, and there was mention of some of the things government needs to do to protect human rights and do away with corruption. But like the theme says, we have to look at ourselves and we have to see what else can we do in our schools, in our communities, in our homes. And I just want to encourage all of us. We're officials of government, we definitely have our part to play. We have laws that protect and that allow us to prosecute cases of corruption. If you take government funding, money out of government revenue and convert it to your own use, we can prosecute you under the penal code. We can do all of these things. But we have to look at our society and our social fabric and see what are those things we can do in our lives to help government and to help our families and ourselves. So I just want to encourage all of us, and I think that the Independent Human Rights Commission for this forum and for inviting students so that, you know, they also take responsibility in this fight. We thank you, and if there's anything the Ministry of Justice can do further, we are trying, we have challenges. We're aware of those and we're working with the justice sector to try to address those challenges as well. So I thank you for the opportunity to be here on behalf of the Minister of Justice. Thank you very much.